Happy Halloween! It's been a while, and I'm so sorry about that. Welcome to the Vlogmas. I've been dealing with a lot of self-doubt as to what I should film about. I feel like this channel is all about books, and I've been wanting to vlog like random things, but it's just not good because I don't feel like it fits my vibe. And also, I forget and I'm not used to it, and I don't like vlogging outside of my house. I don't feel like it's my thing, you know? I want to read, and this is what I feel comfortable with, and that's what I want to vlog about. But also, reading is very hard lately because I go to school all the time, probably 12 hours a day for almost every day. And I've also been on a reading slump for like 2, 3, probably 6 months now. So let's talk about books, shall we? I've read a lot since I last saw you. You know me because I read Harry Potter, probably. And Harry Potter is now a very big part of me. If you see that, you see that. It's a Harry Potter shelf. I have never watched the movies. I don't think I ever will. I tried to watch the first one. I didn't like it. I didn't like the Harry Potter movie because it wasn't as exciting for me as reading the books. And also, I wanted to keep that place of hate for Hermione. I wanted to keep the characters that I created in my head. I don't want to change that. I don't want to start seeing Emma Watson as Hermione. Hermione, for me, is a completely different girl in my head, you know? And I don't want to shift that because I like the way it is for me. I promise you that I will film it if I ever do watch the Harry Potter movies. Let's talk a little bit about the books that I've read since I last saw you, because there have been a lot. I got into Colleen Hoover for a while, and those books are on the deepest part of my closet with a bunch of things that I never want to look at again. But for the sake of this video, we are going to grab it. Let's talk about some books that I feel like are worth mentioning. You know what? I should grab my microphone. Great. Okay, let's talk about it, bitch. Okay, I was acting way too weird before this. Oh my god, I don't know. I feel like this is way funnier and just more me. Let's go ahead and talk about The Love Hypothesis, bitch. This book. So, when I read this book, that was a while ago. It was like 2 years ago. Exactly 2 years ago, actually. I read this book, and oh my god, it literally got me out of my reading slump. I think this is the first book I've ever, and the only book I've ever actually read in one sitting. So when I read this, I didn't know that this book was inspired by Star Wars and Kylo Ren, and I don't even know, but if you don't know that, it's fucking great. I feel like if you know that and then you read it, it's probably not as good. I'm not about to spoil any of these books for you, but you can see my Good Notes reviews. Some of them do have spoilers, and they're really fucking funny. So go ahead and follow me on Goodreads. I don't even understand my own Goodreads review. All I understood is that this book was making me so excited that I had to throw it a few times, and that is honestly the best type of book. I gave it 5 stars. Obviously, it was so fucking good. Just read it. Ooh, then I read The Red Queen. I gave this 4 stars, and I honestly have no idea why. Let me get it. I liked the concept of this book. I don't remember shit from it. I have no idea what this book is about. I finished this, and I remember I just remember that the ending was like so bad that I could not bring myself to read the second one. And now I don't think I ever will because I have no idea what it is about. The Marvels. I think everybody should own this book because of how beautiful it is. And I just got it because of that. And I don't regret that. But, is it actually good? I think it's amazing. I gave it 5 stars. And it made me cry. Looking for these books is a fucking workout, bitch. Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Everyone loves this book and I never got it. Can I just read you what the Goodreads review says? I don't think she deserves a man like that. She was horrible to him, and he was just ever so nice. Didn't feel British enough either. It was just a weird kind of writing style. Didn't love it. A little bit of hatred, but nothing to worry about. Maybe I'm just not in my romance phase anymore. Maybe she wasn't. I'm not saying that I don't support men completely falling for a woman and just being like, oh my god, obsessed with her. I think that's great. What I don't think is great is that I don't like the trope of people letting other people treat them like shit and just be okay with that and still be in love with them. I don't think that that's my vibe. First of all, I don't want to talk about how one of them is hardcover and the other one isn't. And they don't even make these covers anymore, so I will cry if I talk about it. These were so good. Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen. I don't know why I loved them so much. I do know. I gave this one 4 stars because it was missing a little bit of sex. Hikey. But it was super fucking great. Like, I remember this book being the best thing ever for me because I've always loved Pirates of the Caribbean. It's one of my favorite things in the world. It's one of my favorite movies. Shit. So what I love the most about this book, though, is that Alosa is like an actual great fighter. She is fantastic at what she does, but she's not the strongest. Like, she believes she is like the strong female lead that no one can beat, but then it shows you that she isn't. But yeah, I was missing a lot of romance, and then this one just did everything that I needed. So the second one is actually the best. I loved it. I think that it ties everything together so well. I think that it's very smart, and the romance is very tied in together in this one. Unlike the first one, it was just missing a little bit, and then this one just gives it to you fully, and there is no sex. I don't think so, but nonetheless, it's fucking fantastic. Verity, I gave that 5 stars. Oh my god, I have to look in my closet for that. It's time. You can't delay it. I have to talk about Holling Hoover at some point. This was a dark time of my literacy. Oh, by the way, do you remember that blog do you remember that COVID blog? The babies? These are them now. Well, this is one of them. The other ones are not here anymore, but she is the one that I kept. And do you want to say something? She's my baby. I love her. We're always together. It's literally, this is a Rory, Lorelai relationship we have. Okay, let's talk about Verity. So I really liked this book. And I gave it 5 stars. And I actually don't regret giving this one 5 stars. I would actually recommend it for this season, like October. It's kind of scary, but it's not really scary. Obviously, if you're a person that actually likes horror books, I don't think that you should go for this. This is fucking child's play. So, yeah, I think it's a great book that is very aware of how shitty it is, and at the same time is not trying to be better. It's just trying to be however shitty it needs to be. It's shitty, but it's aware of that. Does that make sense? Still, I don't think I would give it 5 stars today, but it is still a book that I think about. And that is because I read fantasy. This is not my cup of tea. But if you want to read something that, like, for the first time, you want to go into, like, a mysterious book, and it's probably something that you're going to read in, like, a day because it's so easy to read and so shitty, read this. Then, after Verity, I actually ended up reading It Ends With Us. I am actually curious to see what I marked here. Let's see it. He pulls his hand up behind his head and looks me straight in the eye. I want to fuck you. I'm not surprised that's what I marked from this. Okay, let's read this one. It's a full minute before either of us is able to move. I already know what this is about. And even then, we choose not to. He presses his face into the pillow and lets out a deep sigh. I can't. He pulls back and looks down at me. His eyes are full of something. I don't know what. He presses his lips to mine and says, "You were so right." About what? He slowly pulls out of me, coming down on him. I didn't see it coming. This fucked me up. I gave it also 5 stars. Why did you do that? I'm glad you asked. I feel like it was just a really good ride of a book. I wish I knew how to defend myself with this, but I actually don't know. It's actually pretty fucking shitty. I just knew that I loved it, and I don't want to talk about it. Then I read Ugly Love, and guess who also gave that 5 stars? I remember giving Ugly Love 5 stars and being like, this is starting to not feel as good to give it 5 stars, but I'm still going to. I think this was the last one that I gave 5 stars. This was horrible. We all know what scene I'm thinking about, and it is that scene about how he talks about his son's balls and how big they are. A baby's balls. Balls. Testicles. Genitals. Do I make myself clear? Disgusting. Horrible. I don't remember a single good thing about this except the sex. And that is not good enough of a reason to give it 5 stars. Then the next Colleen Hoover book I read was Regretting You, and I gave that 4 stars. This is the most dramatic thing ever. I felt like I was watching La Rosa de Guadalupe, but instead it was just completely fucked and not as cringy in a fucking funny good way. But I actually don't think that this was that bad, actually. It was a little bit more realistic than the other ones. And yeah, it was very, forget that. It's not realistic at all. I just remembered what happens. I don't need to talk about this. Just never read it. I also read this one. It was super fucking fucked. Probably the most fucked book that Colleen Hoover ever wrote. It is incredibly concerning. He almost killed her, and then I've never felt so enraged by a book character ever in my life. He was a bitch. Never read this. This is the worst book I've ever read. Probably the one that traumatized me the most, because it made me believe for the first time in my life that I ever actually fell for a character that was the most toxic thing ever, and I actually thought that he was kind of alright and kind of sexy. That was the actual first time that I was like, I am team the ugly guy and the toxic one. And I think that was the downfall of my entire life. So do not read this book. I also read It Starts With Us. I don't have that one because I physically burnt my copy. And that was the only time I've ever done that to a book. Not even the book that I'm about to mention next would earn that place at my heart. The worst book I've ever read. I cannot tell you what happens. Read my Goodreads review, because I'm not even about to talk about it because I'm gonna get so fucking pressed. Then I have this book. It's called All Your Perfects, and I gave this 2 stars. It's not marked. You can see it's marked, but it's not marked by me. It was a gift. You might not believe this if you just read my Goodreads review, but I am not a woman hater. Just listen to how this starts though. She honestly deserved to be cheated on, because at that point you shouldn't expect anything from your husband. I regret writing that. Absolutely. I finished this book and I was like, I would have cheated on you as well. You hate his touch. You push him away every time. What did you think was going to happen? Let me just say, I was not fully developed. My frontal cortex was not fully developed. So excuse her. I actually think that this is still kind of true though. Like, of course it sounds cringy how it's written right here, but having read the book, it's actually like having a wife corpse. Yeah, of course he made out with someone else. He has been having sex with a dead body practically, and a woman who hates him to his core. I hope they end up divorced and filing lawsuits for their trauma. I hated the main character. I hated the book, and the only reason this has 2 stars is because my ex gave it to me. Now it's actually a 1 star though. I'm 100% not proud of this, okay? 100,000%. This is probably gonna be the cover though, because how iconic would it be? Next, I need to talk about The Hunger Games. The first book is actually quite amazing. Like, if you're getting into reading, I feel like The Hunger Games is a really good series to start with. If you like the movies, you're also gonna love the books because they explain a lot of the things that you don't get in the movies. And obviously that's obvious, but I think it's really interesting to know how the system actually works. I don't know, I feel like it's really interesting to get to know Katniss Everdeen also as a person, because the movies she's just a little bitch that doesn't say anything, and in the books she's also a little bitch, but at least you know a little bit of why. I think Peeta actually deserved everything in the world. I think he's one of the best characters ever, and he does not deserve what happens to him. I really liked Catching Fire. It was alright. I don't have anything to say about it. It's just easy read and it's fun. Mockingjay is the reason why you should actually read the books instead of just watching the movies. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This book was a musical. I remember reading it and being like, okay, I'm understanding so much about this world, but at the same time, it feels so unnecessary to read so much music. I think it's an important book to add context. Do I feel like it's a good book? Absolutely not. I actually gave it 2 stars. Oh, my babies. But probably my favorite books in the world. These are my babies. I could make a whole 3-hour video on these books. I love them to death. I will forever defend Farah. These books are my fucking babies. I will defend them with my life. Just these ones. A Court of Silver Flames is a whole other story. I went into these books completely oblivious to the actual implications that it would bring into my life. I thought that it was just a good fantasy with sex. I thought that's what it was. Like, I thought it was like a Twilight, but with sex. I didn't even know what it was about. That is the best kind of thing, because you end up, oh my god. But this was a whole other concept for me. I had never read anything about fairies or fantastical things like that. I had just read like literally Harry Potter, and probably that's it. I don't want to talk about each of them individually because it's going to take so long, but I just got to say that if you're into romance and fantasy and you're like frustrated because you just want to see a guy with wings have sex with a girl mid-air. I cannot believe that just came out of my mouth. You should read all of these books. Now, this is my favorite duology. Can you tell? I am tired of saying this because I feel like I say it every day to a different person. But if you have never read Six of Crows, hi, think about this book probably every day. This is my Roman Empire. They both have 5 stars. This is the only series that I've ever read that both of the books, or well, all of the books have 5 stars. And I know there are not a lot of books, but oh my god. I don't think a book will ever make me feel that way again. Ever. It will never be as exciting as that. Not even Harry Potter could do that to me. I think Harry Potter is really good, but it feels very PG-13, and these books are timeless. The way that this author portrays the world and the people and every character is so well developed, and you literally know them by the end of the first book. I think it's just chef's kiss. Everything about it is amazing. I don't think of a single flaw that this book could ever have. In my eyes, this book is perfect, and I do not care what you tell me about it. And then lastly, the last book I want to finish this with, in a more Halloween-y note, Frankenstein. Frankenstein is literally the best classic in the world, and no one can tell me otherwise. So I obviously knew that Frankenstein was like this monster or whatever. Wrong. Everything I knew about this book was actually wrong. This book is so much more than a monster created by someone. But it talks about rejection and desire to be part of a society when you feel so out of it, and loneliness and loss and and deception and revenge, and it's so full of very important, valuable lessons. I feel like everyone should read this classic. If there is a single classic that you should actually read ever, I think it's Frankenstein. Anyway, that was it for today's video. I hope you liked it. I really liked filming this. I feel like it feels way more natural than what I was trying to do before. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be seeing you soon. I'm gonna be reading either Twilight or The Hobbit. I don't know which one. Maybe, I don't know. I wanna read so many things, and I wanna film videos again. And I will be seeing you very soon. Goodbye.